Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have Alex, aka Dear Greyson, at YouTube, at Instagram, at Snapchat, at Twitter. You don't have a Twitter. If you want to check out her channel, if by chance you haven't already, link in the description.
Say we're doing a controversial parenting tag.
Did I not?
No.
We're doing the controversial parenting tag video. This wasn't like a huge video on my channel, but I did it a while back with Carl.
So have I. Not with Carl.
She did it with Carl too. So we are deciding to do it together because just like we are the same.
We're one.
So
yeah, we're gonna just get right into it.
I'm taking over my intro.
So just as a disclaimer, I think motherhood is one of the most controversial things just in general, because as mothers, you do what you feel is best for your child. So when somebody disagrees with you, you almost feel like it's a personal attack. So we just want to put out there that none of this is personal attacks. We genuinely...
These are not personal attacks.
It's a little too streaky for me. It's streaky.
We genuinely are fine with whatever you choose to do with your child, as long as you feel that that's your child's best interest and you've done your own research about it. This is just what we believe, and so yeah, so just disclaimer, we really don't mean to offend anybody, although I'm sure it's still gonna offend somebody because it's the controversial parenting tag. Not everybody's gonna agree with you, so
my bad. None of this is to say that this is correct, this is how you should parent.
Right.
This is literally just for the people who are curious on our stance, because I like to know what people's opinions on certain topics are, as I'm sure like anyone watching this video wants to know what ours are. So
right.
Here they are.
So the very first one is pro-life versus pro-choice. We're gonna start off with a kicker. So I am pro-choice.
I just believe that everyone should have the right to choose what happens with their own body.
The next one is co-sleeping.
So basically my stance on this is that there are safe and unsafe ways to do all the forms of sleeping, so like crib sleeping, co-sleeping, whatever you choose to do, you should choose what is most comfortable for you and what you're most interested in doing, and then do the research on that and learn how to do it safely.
I agree with that 100%. I do co-sleep with both of my boys. Speaking of which, my little boy is not sleeping, so I'm gonna go grab him.
Okay, so the next one is another one that is quite controversial, and it is breast versus formula. At the end of the day, fed is best. You should feed your child however you feed your child. If you don't already have like a solid reason not to breastfeed, and there are a lot of legitimate reasons not to, I believe that it is something you should try out, because you might love it, you might hate it, and it is definitely a journey, and it is one of the hardest things I did, especially in the newborn stage. I did not have a very easy time breastfeeding as a first-time mom, and so I totally understand making the decision to switch to formula. It was definitely something I thought about a lot in the very beginning, so there's no shame in how you feed your child. I personally believe you should try it out, and if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do believe that fed is best. I do think that you should at least try breastfeeding, but I will be honest, it's not really everybody's cup of tea. I was formula fed, and I do think the most important thing is that you are present for your children. If it's going to affect your mental health, again, like I said, I do think that you being there for your children is what's most important.
So piggybacking, not a word. Okay. To piggyback off of the last one, this one is extended breastfeeding. So I feel like everyone's definition can be a little bit different on what extended breastfeeding means. For me, it just means breastfeeding past 1 year, and I feel like that's a pretty common agreement on it, and I am completely for extended breastfeeding. If you feel comfortable breastfeeding past a year, and if your child wants to breastfeed past a year, that's your choice.
Again, 100% agree. I would have
breastfed Greyson.
I would have breastfed Greyson past a year, and even beyond that, it's something I am for. It's not like breast milk loses its nutrients or anything like that. It's good for so many things.
It's up there with coconut oil. It solves like every
grail.
single issue.
Yeah.
That was the most crunchy thing I've ever said on this channel.
My goal with August is to go until he is 2, because now I'm a stay-at-home mom, so it's just a lot easier. With Greyson, I stopped because I wasn't really good with pumping, and I ended up having to go back to work. So I do plan to breastfeed until he's 2, and even possibly beyond that. I am not against that at all.
Okay, so the next one is Another controversial one, wow, in a controversial parenting tag. This one is circumcision.
It's something, and I'm speaking for both of us because we have had very in-depth conversations about it, so I don't mean to steal your thunder or anything, but just to give you guys the answer, we are against circumcision, and honestly, going into it, it would be an entire video, so it's something you could do your own research on, and we might make a video in the future, but we are against it.
Yeah, this is just one of the things that after so much research, you guys, like you
not like a quick Google search.
From the moment I found out I was having a boy, even till now, sometimes I still am finding out new info. I'm a research whore.
You dirty.
It is not a decision that I am at all comfortable making for my boys, and Jax is not circumcised and neither will this baby. This next one is baby ear piercings. Baby ear piercings and circumcision is one that I see compared a lot, and even though I personally don't make that choice for my children, I don't like to think they are comparable, really. This is just not something that I would feel comfortable making the decision for my baby. I would want to wait till my children are old enough to understand what's happening and make the decision and, you know, get excited about it. I remember when my mom took me to get my ears pierced, and that's kind of like the memory I want my kids to have as well.
So yeah, this is something I wasn't really too sure about. If you watch my very old controversial parenting tag, in there I even said like I'm not having a girl, so I really wasn't focused on it. And yeah, it's something I personally wouldn't do for my baby, just because there's also a lot of things like I would be afraid that they would come out uneven. Another reason is just because if you do any research about ear piercing, it isn't the best to get it done with a gun, and a lot of places that use a needle will actually not do children. And again, that could vary place to place, so I can't speak for where you live, but just here, I do know that it is really hard to find anywhere that will do it without getting it done with a gun, and that's just something I'm not comfortable doing, and it's something I would like my children to tell me and make it a fun experience, because I remember going with my mom too, and it was really fun. I was so excited. I actually ended up not getting it done because I got scared, and we made like 3 visits, and then I finally ended up doing it, and I was really proud of myself, and I was able to rock my earrings at school. So I don't know, it's just something I wouldn't do for my children, but again, you could do whatever you want with yours.
And just to note, piercing guns are not something that I would recommend no matter what age you are. This is not just like strictly for babies. Like, do not get anything pierced with a gun, please, people. Just don't do it. I got mine pierced with a gun when I was, I want to say around 8 or 9 years old, and I had to get them done twice because the first time the earring backing actually got damaged from the gun, so I couldn't get it off and my ear started to swell around it, and I remember my stepdad and my mom had to like hold my head down and take pliers to get the actual backing off, which that is something that does happen with guns, is it can damage the earring backing, and also they can't be sterilized 100%. It's just not a good idea. So this next one is vaccinations, and I do vaccinate my kids.
So do I.
So this one is screen time, and this is one that I actually thought I was like going to be a lot different about when I was pregnant with Jax than what actually ended up happening.
So I have nothing against screen time, especially because there's a lot of educational cartoons out there, which I feel like a lot of people just dismiss that, but I know personally my child has learned a lot from cartoons. Jax has learned how to count and has learned his colors from cartoons as well. I do believe that there should be a limit on it, and I don't think it's a problem until it becomes a problem, if that makes sense. So if your kid needs the cartoons and
needs that stimulation,
then I do think that is when it becomes a problem, and that is when you should start working on it. But I do not believe that screen time in general is just a bad thing. Our society is growing so much, and to just take away something that has developed us so much is just kind of insane. It's just kind of insane to me. So it's not something I would take away completely, but it's not like I have a zombie on my hands that just watches cartoons 24/7. We do have a limit.
Pretty much the same thing. Jax literally only watches educational videos. He does have like his favorite movies, like he loves Spirit, but he most of the time requests the little YouTube educational videos learning about shapes, learning about colors. He requests those more than he does request movies, which I think is awesome. I don't believe that you should let the TV parent your kid. Even if you are watching educational videos, I still think it's important to work with them and educate them on the same things, but I think it's a good supplement. This next one is teen privacy. So basically just how much privacy are we going to allow our children to have when they reach the older
teenage years.
Letting my kids have privacy is really, really important. I am not the type of person who feels like I should be going through my child's phone or going through my child's room. I would never do that. That's just an invasion of privacy, and I would not want my parents to do that to me, and I wouldn't want anyone to do that to me, so I'm not going to do it to my kids unless obviously there's a safety concern, but that's a lot of more specific.
So I do agree with that. I do believe that teenagers should have their privacy. I think teaching your kids respect is a huge thing, and a lot of the times you do need to practice what you preach, and like Megan said, I wouldn't like anybody invading my privacy, so I don't plan on doing that with my kids. I do plan on being a very open parent with my kids, so I want them to be able to come to me and tell me things, and again, that's not guaranteed, of course. No matter how I parent, that's not guaranteed, but I do plan on at least influencing that. But yeah, if it does ever become a safety concern, that's another subject, and that a lot more kind of goes into that on specifics. I do plan all in all to give my teenagers privacy. So we're back with more children. Grayson just woke up, and so he wants mommy and only mommy, so he's getting mommy. Gus also wants mommy and only mommy, so my hands are a little bit full, but so is my heart.
She's just a walking Instagram caption. All right, so getting back into the topics, the next one is underage kids having sex, and by underage meaning under 18, I'm assuming, right? Yeah, okay.
So for me, sex is very natural. It's not something that I plan on hiding from my children. I would like to educate them on it as much as possible, and I'm not against sex. I don't believe that you should have sex until you are ready, and it's not really something that I think that I have the choice on when to say my kids are ready to have sex. Let's be reasonable here, guys. I'm obviously not talking about very, very young kids, but I do plan on being very open with my kids, and I do plan on teaching and practicing safe sex. They did have a... You okay? I hit my toe.
I just want my children to be knowledgeable about sex and to be knowledgeable about the possible outcomes of having sex. Hiding sex and not teaching your child about sex can be dangerous because obviously there is unwanted pregnancies and there are STDs, and I feel like it is more important to me that my children are protected than it is for them to just not be having sex. Moving on is spanking.
So I do discipline my children, or at least I plan on disciplining my children. I can't really say children because August obviously is not at the age to discipline, but with Grayson, he is. You're not hearing his face. I'm sorry. So I do not use spanking as a form of discipline. We do kind of go other routes as far as that goes. But yeah, you could do whatever you want with your kids. It's just something that I don't do with mine.
Yeah, I don't believe in using physical punishment on my children, and I think a lot of that has to just come from the way that I was raised and how my parents disciplined me. A lot of the way we choose to raise our children is heavily impacted on how we were raised, whether you want to copy your parents' decisions or stray away from them. But for me, just because of personal experience and a lot of other different factors, it's just not something that I choose to use with my children. And that's the tea. That was not tea. It wasn't even
Very
close to being tea. So this next one is a fun one, and this is home birth. What's your opinion on home birth, Alex?
Gosh, where do I begin? I obviously had a home birth, so I am for home birth. I think it is a beautiful thing to be able to be in your element inside your own home, and I just believe that there are safe ways to have a home birth, and as long as you are practicing that, then go push a kid out of your vagina in the comfort of your own home.
My home birth view really did change a lot in the last like since really like knowing Alex pretty much, because before then I didn't know anyone who did one. I didn't know the reasons behind why people did them. I just didn't understand the process, and I was pretty involved in like being able to see what the actual process was like, and so for me that like really did change my opinion on it. And I went from like a while ago being like, no, absolutely not, that's a horrible idea, to being like, you know what, as long as you have a certified midwife with you that is able to deal with anything that might happen, and as long as you are comfortable with it, it's your choice and it's your birth and you need to do what you gotta do. Okay, we are finally at the last one, guys. This one is public versus homeschool. For me, my mind on this changes so much. Literally from day to day, I change my mind on this, and not on my like view on how other people do it, mainly just like what I'm choosing to do. So I have thought about homeschooling my children in the past. I got a little bit overwhelmed when I was thinking about it because I just really didn't know anything about it, and it was kind of like daunting to think about, but it was something that I did consider, and now I am pretty much made up my mind on the fact that I am going to send my kids to public school, but I don't have a negative opinion on either.
Yeah, I don't have a negative opinion on either. I'm not really too sure what we plan on doing. I think that's kind of something that we're gonna figure out whenever we get there. It's something that we have talked about extensively.
All right, so that is all of the topics. I hope you guys had a real fun time joining us in on this these controversies.
We're so tired, guys.
I'm pregnant and she has a newborn, so we are exhausted 24/7. Okay, I also didn't say I have a toddler either, okay? I left both our kids out.
Okay.
Thank you very much. But yeah, guys, so that is it for this video. It is a long one, and I cannot wait to edit this.
He's grumpy.
Are you like grumpy, guys?
Oh.
That is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it.
1 second.
And I will see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.